You are listening to the We Hired a Sitter for This podcast.
We hired a sitter for this.
We have a roster of like 7 sitters.
I'm spending $3,000 on paints.
Do you go to therapy?
Never have, nah.
There was a small fire. I put it out.
Real talk, the stakes are too high with my baby.
Comedy, parenting, marriage, life.
We do it all.
I'm a dad and I'm busy.
I have an opinion. I don't know if it'll be right, but
I'm Patrick.
my name is Gastor.
We hired a sitter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to We Hired a Sitter for This, episode number 135.
Woo,
Can you
racking
believe
them up, baby.
we did 135 episodes just here today? This is our 135th in a row, and I am full of energy, baby.
Amen. 1 minute episode. We out here.
Yes, actually, we should do that. That's what people want. Nobody actually wants to. Although my sister said, "Hi, Rebecca. My sister is watching on YouTube."
Oh, that's what's up.
She says she's enjoying having it on in the background. I hope it's in the background. Rebecca, I hope you're not sitting and staring and watching an hour straight of us, just this one shot, because that's all the show is on YouTube. It's just one shot.
You know, I've tricked a few people into thinking we film in separate locations.
That's hilarious.
They're like, well, how do y'all do it? Like, I'm in my own home. He's in the studio. He puts it together. It's
we got the ISDN line. We've got Verizon Fios fiber optics involved. HD cameras, 4K from across in the same borough. Probably like a 40-minute walk. If we wanted to hoof it from my house to yours, it's like 40 minutes. But no, we got to just dial up.
We up here, baby. You know what I mean?
Hey, I had a crazy morning. I have a story.
Oh,
I'm starting with a story.
Coming in hot.
Oh my God. So Franny and I, we take the bus to school. We call it school. It's daycare. It's 3K. So I guess it's school. It's through the DOE. It's school.
3K?
Yeah, there's 3K, and then you do pre-K, and then you do kindergarten.
What does 3K stand for?
3K is 3-year-olds kindergarten or whatever. It's like it's pre-K. So pre-K is the year you turn 4.
I feel like they should have a new name for that at that point.
I know. I think it's flows maybe. I don't know. But Eric, for what it's worth, Eric Adams wants to get rid of 3K.
Really?
Which would be really bad.
I don't want to get rid of 3K. I just want to change the name. 3K sounds like it. Yeah, like because it just sounds like it's ahead of regular K.
It does, and it is confusing. I have to like stop myself every time I talk about this. I'm like, wait, what is she in? Is she in pre-K or 3K? Yeah, you would think it's then 3, then kindergarten.
I would think pre-kindergarten 3K. Like you elevated from kindergarten.
Yeah, like 3K is the third K.
You tripled the K.
Yeah, maybe it's got to be Lil K.
Yeah, or post-K and 3K. Well, no, this is the pre-PK.
Yeah. So like you got Lil K, pre-K, and then kindergarten.
Yeah, I like how you
Kindergarten is I think a Dutch word. Isn't that weird that we say kindergarten?
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I don't know what it means.
It's like kindergarten. You know, like I think that's the original word for it.
We got kindergarten and Haagen-Dazs. Those are the only two of the state.
Actually, the best things in the world in my life, because if I didn't have kindergarten, I'd have a child at home all day, and then I would be eating Haagen-Dazs to get through it.
I love it.
So we take the bus. We walk out our door. We got a bus stop right outside our building. DeKalb Avenue goes from Queens. It goes from Ridgewood, Queens, all the way to Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, where Juniors is.
Okay.
And I've become intimately familiar with the whole length of DeKalb because of this bus line we use. The bus we take to school, it's just like a 6-block segment of it. So we go from our intersection, I think it's 3 or 4 bus stops, and then it drops her off right outside school. This morning we get on the bus, and she doesn't have belongings. You know, she's got some clothes, she's got toys, whatever, but she doesn't need a backpack. Sometimes she role plays needing a backpack.
It's freaking vagabond of a kid, okay?
Yeah.
Out here in the streets.
Yeah.
I've taught her better.
Sometimes she is a bag lady. We make fun of her. She'll throw on her backpack, she'll have a purse, she'll have like a tote bag just to feel like she has stuff.
I like it.
But today we were traveling light. I had my stuff for my day because once I drop her off at school, I have my whole day. I don't go back home. So she's got just a denim jacket, t-shirt, shorts, sneakers, and a pair of sunglasses. No bag today. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be easy. We're traveling light. But we get outside and she's like, it's too hot. I don't need this jacket. So I hold the jacket. And speaking of clothes, we get on the bus, and she wants to tell me what clothes she wants for her birthday because she's recently interested in fashion. Some torn up pants caught her eye. She's like, I want ripped pants for my birthday.
Whoa.
And I'm like, all right, yeah, like ripped jeans. Everybody likes ripped jeans. That is cool. And she's like, not jeans. I don't want jeans. I want ripped pants. And I'm like, all right, tell me what you're talking about. Like, and she saw some girl with a diamond pattern pair of pants that were ripped, and she wants these pants. So I start Google image searching, and she's sitting on my lap on the bus. We're Google image searching, trying to figure out what the hell she's talking about. She's getting more and more upset because my searches are going further from what she's talking about. Anyway, all of a sudden we're at her bus stop for school. So I'm like, we got to get off. So you go first. I'll follow you. Let's go. Let's get off the bus. And we get off the bus. And within a second, I realize I don't have her jacket.
Oh,
her
no.
jacket's still on the bus, and the bus is gone. It's gone down the block. And here's the deal with this jacket. This is her favorite denim jacket, which Ross and I bought, I think 7 years ago, to send to my niece. We bought this cool denim jacket. It's covered in all these patches. It looks like somebody took a bunch of patches and put them on individually, but it's probably it's some brand, you know.
Right.
But it's cool. And when we went to Denver, they gifted us this jacket back because my niece grew out of it, and I was like, this is amazing, the circle of life with this jacket. Franny's going to love it.
Oh, yeah.
It came from her cousin. Yada, yada, yada. I love this jacket. It's like the coolest thing, and I've fallen off with my gift giving, by the way, with my niece. Like, I love my niece. I just haven't been great about giving gifts, but this is one of these gifts that I was like so proud of when we got it for her all those years ago.
Hell yeah.
So when we got it back, it was like this amazing thing, and the last month or two, she's been wearing it often and like gets complimented on it. And I left the jacket on the bus, and I was like so upset. Like, we're walking to school, and I'm like, I can't even get the words out to tell her that I left the fucking jacket on the bus.
Yeah.
And I realize it, and I'm like, maybe what websites am I going to go on to try to get the lost and found, whatever. So anyway, we walk up the porch to her daycare. I put her inside, and I say to her, I was like, hey, I left your jacket on the bus. I'm going to go chase the bus. So let's ring the bell, go in there. Let's say goodbye fast, because usually the goodbyes in the morning, it can go anywhere from quick, where she doesn't give a shit about me. She's like, peace, I'll see you later.
Right.
To dad, please don't leave. Tears, hugging, multiple hugs. Can you come in, read a book to me? Then you can leave, like hostage situation. It can be anything. And this time I said, I got to go get your jacket. You got to go inside. She walks in. She says to the caretaker, she said, Giselle, my dad, I left my jacket on the bus. and this lady did not turn to me. She did not turn to me and go, oh, that's too bad. She turned to me and went, like, gave me the full on, what are you doing, bro? She gave me the what are you doing, bro?
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. And I was like, I know, I'm an idiot. And I had my bike helmet. These are Dominican ladies, by the way. I
love it. My people is great,
yeah,
yo.
they don't give a shit. And I think she was probably upset because this jacket is like one of the few cool things Franny wears. Like, they like when she looks cute and like has like feminine clothes on or a dress or whatever. She has a bunch of cute stuff. I'm misspeaking there, but anyway, the lady was pissed at me. Franny was just like, kind of thought it was funny that I left the jacket on there. So I'm glad she wasn't upset. So anyway, I put on.
I just love that, because that reaction tells me that like Franny talks shit about you all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like, you have a reputation in.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, again?
Yeah.
This dude?
Yeah.
Come on, B.
Well, yesterday she was very proud to announce to the whole class upon entry that there was a spider in our bathroom yesterday morning. Like, it's so interesting how these little incidents happen. Like, I had to kill a spider, flush it down the toilet.
Yeah.
We had this philosophical conundrum about whether or not to tell her we were going to kill it and flush it. So we decided to say that it's going to swim out to the ocean.
Wow.
Because, it's a living being. We talk a lot about living beings, about like, don't tear the flowers out of the ground, or don't rip at that tree, or don't mess with that animal, because these are living beings. And so the spider was like hanging in the bathroom, like right above the toilet, and Franny was really fascinated by it, and I was grossed out, so I just want to kill it, move it, eradicate it. You
right.
know? But once she knew that it might be certain death for the thing, I could tell she was starting to get upset, so I said it would swim to the ocean.
But now you got to keep up this lie forever.
I think it's okay.
I tell them shit. I'm murdering all of these insects.
This is murder.
Straight up. And I make them watch me do it, and then I make them do the next one.
Yeah.
Own it. Like, yo, real talk. Yo, we had moths in DR. I stepped on like 10 of them.
Yeah.
I was slap fighting them, and then I told Michaela, like, yo, I've been doing this for you. You see me do it, right? It's your turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like initiating someone into organized crime.
Real talk.
It's your turn to...
It's got to be on your hands. I can't be the only one in here.
Yeah, if you want to be in this family, you need to do violence.
Amen. Real talk.
So yeah, yesterday it was my dad murdered a spider, and she told the whole class. And now today it's the jacket. So I say goodbye. They close the door. I throw my helmet on. There's a city bike rack across the street. I'm already dialing up to see if there's an e-bike on there because with the electric I can go faster. But this is on Bushwick Avenue where the lights last a long time. It's like a 2-minute light. So I'm like, just cars rushing past. I'm thinking about froggering across the street and like risking like definite death. I would be that spider if I got crushed by one of these trucks. And finally the light turns red. I run to the rack. There's one e-bike left, and it's not the new one. It's the old crappy one. I say, I don't care. I get it. And I get back on DeKalb Avenue. I start heading toward the juniors because I got to go toward downtown Brooklyn. Yeah. And I'm hustling. And I get across Broadway and then across Malcolm X Boulevard. And then I see the bus in the distance. And I'm like, I'm going to catch up with this bus. And I know that it wasn't a limited bus. It was a local bus. So it's going to make all stops. So I catch up to it in like 5 minutes. And I remember the bus driver's face. It was a woman driving, and I pull up right next to her on the bike. I'm like, I left something on the bus. And we're near a bus stop. She points at it. She pulls over. I park the bike on the sidewalk. I just kick the kickstand down. I jump on the bus like I'm Keanu Reeves in Speed.
Yeah. My man.
And I said, ladies and gentlemen. No, I didn't do that. I just went to the back of the bus, and I didn't see it right away. And I'm like looking around, and there's way more people. And I'm like, did anybody see a jacket? And this guy who looks like Fat Joe from the Bronx, he says, there's a jacket right here. It's the jacket. I grab it. I run off the bus. And then I realized that man must have seen it on the seat. Maybe he grabbed it for a young relative or something, which I would respect
it's a free
that.
Jacket.
Yeah, I would respect that. But he gave it to me. I jump off. I say thank you to the lady. She yells at me. I love New York City bus drivers. She yells at me. She's like, I opened the back door for you. And I was like, I'm sorry. And I get on the bike and I start riding back to the daycare, just floating on pure victory. I was so proud. I was so happy that we didn't lose the jacket and that I wasn't a disappointment and that I could bring it back to the daycare, put it in her cubby. I decided not to ring the doorbell. I wasn't going to do a victory lap in school and distract everybody because I think even the kids would be like, that's really sad that he needs our validation. So I just put it back in and I messaged them. There's an app. I said, tell Franny the jacket is in her cubby. And I came through, and man,
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Real talk. See, that's what being a dad is to me.
Yeah.
Real talk is doing the most for these things that like kids will never know about.
Yeah.
Real talk. Like Franny's never gonna know that story for real. Like she will in this particular case because you're a podcasting comedian.
Yeah.
Like this might come out years later.
Yeah.
But like a typical dad does something like that once a week.
Yeah.
And it's just like forgotten in the zeitgeist. Yeah. And like dads aren't good at like publicity. Like we don't rep our stuff well like that. That's why your instinct was to do that. Yeah. Because you're like, how do I I know I deserve some kudos for this. That's too much kudos. Let me just get no kudos.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
I did my job.
I would like fan mail after this, so if you're listening to this and you're proud of me, please do tell me you're
He's
proud.
a retrieval expert.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hit him up for work.
Penetrate and extract. There's definitely some kind of military connection. No, I told Ross, I was like, I feel like Tom Cruise right now. I feel like it was Mission Impossible.
Real
talk. I chased down the B-38.
Yo, that's fire.
You can't chase down the B-38.
You can't chase down the B-38, but Patrick can.
Yeah.
Real talk.
No, and it's something about, because I did have a moment, like the moment I realized that I left it on the bus and the bus was gone, I did like talk through in my head. I was like, I just have to accept this. Like, it's just a jacket. I'll check out the lost and found, see if there's a website or whatever. But
it's not a dad response.
It's just gone. And then I was like, no, I can catch up to that bus.
Oh yeah, baby.
And I actually had the thought, I bet if I just tell Franny to walk in by herself today, and if I just start sprinting, I could catch it. But then I'm like, I gotta like get her safely into the school before I can just start running like a psychopath down the middle of DeKalb Avenue, even though I wouldn't be the only one in that particular neighborhood. But yeah, it felt, I'm so proud. I feel so good.
You should be.
Cause I also,
I mean, hold on. Like, let's not get crazy now.
Yeah.
You solved the problem you created.
That's true.
You know, you
That's
are
true.
the person that lost the jacket.
Well, here's something I'm definitely not proud of. I really wanted to blame her. I wanted to.
Why'd you bring this jacket?
No,
you knew it was nice.
No, why did you want so badly to Google image search these other clothes? Like, why were we on my phone? Why were you on my lap? We never do that. Like, why were you making me have to put so much effort into this other thing that we got distracted? And we literally looked up and I was like, oh, we're at our stop. We got to jump off, you know, like, which is also obviously not her fault. yeah.
Oh, but, no, my kid is behaving and spending time with me and bonding and sharing the thing that they would like. But something that has caught their attention. You know, they're telling the provider in their life.
Yeah.
The nerve of them.
She's communicating. She's communicating and expressing her needs.
You know? And while telling me about the things she wants, I lost track of the things she got.
Yes.
Come on, B.
Yeah, no, but that's like that's my human nature, I guess, is like immediately like, how do I not feel like shit about this? I'll blame someone else, you know? But yeah, I also like, it got me thinking about like objects and how important they are. Like, I do think she would be really sad if when she realized, oh, that thing is gone forever. Like, I can remember, did you ever have Ruse running shoes when you were a kid?
Never in my life. I don't even know what those are.
They're called Ruse, and the logo is a little kangaroo. So
your mom made these for you, right? Get the fuck out of here. Ruse running shoes?
Ruse, yeah. I mean, they were like running shoe style. They're just called Ruse. And they had a little zipper on the side for change. It had a little change purse built into the sneaker. They were great. You would love them. I had a pair of red ones, and this is the 80s, so they look like 80s.
You had red Ruse running shoes?
Oh, yeah.
For real? The alliteration continues?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And I would retire at night, and I slept in these Ruse. That's how much I loved these Ruse, is that I would go to bed at night wearing them. So I would retire with my red Ruse running shoes. And I like those are. I was thinking about this on the way here. I was just thinking, like, what were some items and belongings of mine that I would be so heartbroken if I lost as a kid, or ones that I did. Like, you know, there were certain things. I remember there was this stupid shirt that I liked that, like, mom, you know, recycled or whatever too soon.
Right.
So I feel like I prevented a formative experience. Like, she's gonna experience that with something else that she's disappointed that she loses.
But it's not your fault.
Yeah.
That's good.
But this time, yeah.
I have a few of those for sure. Like, when I was 5, my parents bought a house with my godparents. So we lived on the first floor. My godparents lived on the second floor. And in the adjoining hallway of the building, we had this big box that, like, it might be big in my head because I was like 5. Yeah. But it's where all my toys were kept. Yeah. So all my toys were in there for like a year, and like it's filled with toys. Every toy I ever own is in there.
And what genre are we talking at this time? Like Star Wars,
Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joes, some Hot Wheels. Yeah. At the time, I want to say the box felt like it was my size. Looking back, it's probably like 3x3. Yeah. So, like, still a lot of toys, you know, when you think about it, right? And about a year into living there, my godfather just threw it out one day.
Oh, no.
Didn't ask.
No.
Just chucked the whole box, said it was in my way. My mom was heated, so I knew it was like weird in a few ways. I was angry because he threw all my stuff. Yeah. Didn't ask me. Weirdly,
I'm angry right now, by the way.
Real talk.
And I don't play with toys. Like
weirdly, I felt good because, like, my mom being angry let me know that I wasn't weird. Yeah. Like, up until that point, I think every time I was mad, the adults disagreed with me.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was the first time where I noticed that like adults disagreed.
Yeah, yeah.
And that I could have an adult on my side of an argument. And I was like, oh, okay. So like in a weird way, like it was also validating.
Yeah.
Like I remember feeling like, okay, like I'm not bugging out to be pissed off about this. That's my stuff.
Yeah.
I remember like my dad and him having like a heated convo in the hallway.
Yeah.
And like they're coming to a man solution, but not a me solution. You know, like
what was his justification? Did you ever get any sense?
I mean, I understood what he did. It was a stupid reason. It was in his way. Literally. He was like he worked, like he did handyman work, and he also did a lot of the maintenance for the building, and all the maintenance was just us two families. And
what's your relationship like with this person now?
Well, he passed away, but overall, I had a great relationship with him. He was super playful.
Yeah.
But
this was one slip up.
This was a slip up.
It wasn't a pattern.
Loved the dude overall.
Yeah.
He was silly, really fun dude, playful.
It was one evil thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and like, but yeah, like he just chucked my stuff, so I was pissed off, you know, and like I remember being angry about it, but I do remember like that. The bigger feeling I got is like my mom being mad. Yeah. And she was a real chill lady in general, and she chewed out my pops and said, "You better chew him out."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I was like, y'all never, and like I remember feeling angry but feeling like good that like an adult saw my worldview.
Yeah.
That's a formative memory. A good one in a weird way.
That's also such a mom place to step in. Like a dad, like I could see a dad in my family or an uncle or possibly even me in the future saying something along the lines of, well, those are toys. You're too old now for toys like that. So
and that was part of it. Yeah, it was some energy like that. Like, yo, like you don't need this.
Yeah.
And like he chucked it for me. And like it was still stuff that I play. It's stuff I would play with now.
I was gonna say how many comics I could think of who are obsessed with wrestling figures and Ninja Turtles.
Sure, I had the Ultimate Warrior with the automatic slam.
Yeah.
The original like Ninja Turtles were all in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was heated.
Any of those wrestling figures that were just solid pieces of rubber and that you could just like beat the shit out of somebody with?
Nah, I had the wrestling ones with the pre-moves, and I also had the ones you put on your thumb.
Yeah.
They're like, there was Hulk Hogan and generic guy, always.
And you would clasp somebody else's hand and you would thumb
fight.
wrestle.
Yeah,
I remember those.
I had those joints. But he chucked it. That pissed me off.
Oh, that's hardcore. That I could see that being a reason why somebody becomes maybe like a murderer or something. Like you've used your painful experiences like that for good. But that is a formative experience that could really change a person.
Time is ticking.
Like,
you know?
like to be,
the
idea that they're on one box.
I took out my godfather. Okay?
Yes.
This is what this all is.
Yeah. How long has he been gone?
He passed away just short of a decade now. Homie was the man, sincerely. That's what threw me off. I genuinely enjoyed him.
Well, let's talk. Where were you the night of his disappearance?
And then another. And this one was one where I learned to be like appreciative of stuff. I was like, I want to say like 9 or 10. I had my first pair of like Jordan sneakers, and I didn't. I knew they were hard to get.
Yeah. Like money wise.
Yeah, it was like those. It was the Shaqs actually, part of me. And I had them, and I was just old enough where like I knew they were cool. But I was still young enough that I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I was the oldest kid invited to a birthday party at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And my mom was like, "You still want to play?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to play. I know that the cutoff's coming off soon."
Yeah.
Where this is weird.
Let me get my last licks in.
Oh yeah,
McDonald's
I get the body slam kids in a ball pit now. I'm the biggest dude here. Hell yeah, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So I went in, played for like an hour or two. When I got there, I noticed there was another kid that also had the Shaqs.
Oh, no.
And when I get out, he took my Shaqs.
He got the newer Shaq. Like,
not even
were yours cleaner? Were yours cleaner?
This was the thing. I was the oldest kid there. So he put in shoes he fit in. I had these like little mini Shaqs that I can't put my feet in.
Oh, yeah,
So I think he just put them on. thinking they were his and walked off. And like I go to put on my kicks. They like 3 sizes too small. They don't work for me at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And yours were gone. You couldn't.
They were gone. Yeah, like, I didn't know.
Reconnect.
I couldn't find the kid. And it was like the one kid that was
he got to wear your shacks for like another semester.
Straight up, another year.
He wore them into middle school. Oh, that's not cool.
Straight up, my and that was the first time like I felt like I should be more cognizant of my things.
Yeah.
And then B, like I learned like men jokes. Cause like when I got home, like my dad and my uncles, they were all like ribbing me. They were like, "Oh, we gonna hang his sneakers from the car window, the rear view." And
yeah, well, actually, there is a lesson there. They taught you to use humor when something is so frustrating and annoying, and there's nothing to be done about it. Sometimes all you got is jokes.
That's it. It happens.
Yeah.
Right up, real talk.
And you just accept reality.
Amen.
Oh, damn. I went to a couple play places in Denver. Like we go to play places here all the time, but it's like, and there's a lot of people, but the shoe cubbies are pretty contained, and you know where people's stuff is. We went to this one in Denver where there were multiple shoe cubby areas, and I'm just like looking around. I started shopping. I was like, I might take these shoes instead of my own shoes. So that thought entered my mind. I mean, why not? I guess one day if I ever stop adhering to the mores of society, I'll just start shopping in public.
You do what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
Real talk. I know that when I took my kids to places, Gabby was like, I was weirdly attached to holding on to the shoes.
Yeah. You were like, I can't repeat the mistakes of my past.
She was like, we can just leave them on the tail. I was like, no, we not.
Yeah.
Grab them. You know what I mean?
You're like, honey, we're getting multiple sets of air tags for all of the shoes, left and right.
Real talk.
We got to know where these things are at all times.
Oh, yeah. We in Funtopia, you know what I mean, holding on Discovery Zone, held on to all of those joints.
Yeah. Sneakers were such a sore spot growing up, like the desiring the coolest sneakers, but knowing that they can't,
the rabbit running
the Roost
sneakers wasn't cool.
No, I remember like the first cool pair of sneakers I got were some Nike Airs running shoes with the bubble on the side where you could see through and you could see the air, and I just remember thinking these are so cool. Or the Bo Jacksons, the gray and yellow Bo Jacksons.
Hey, yo, Bo know this, yo, Bo know that.
I remember the Bo Jacksons putting them on and taking the Velcro strap and strapping it on and thinking, once I get that strap over, then I'm a superhero.
That's it.
I'm going to be able to run so fast. I'm going to be able to climb any tree in my backyard. And they didn't work. I was like, these are bunk. But yeah, but before like any of those cool sneakers, I remember like my mom just being like, we can't afford all these nice sneakers. You gotta pick from this rack over there, and then having to go to the sad rack
straight up
of Vias or whatever they were called.
I mean, my cousin was a dealer and he lived upstairs, so I just took his sneakers.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. He was your sneaker plug.
Straight up. He wasn't happy with it, but he had no choice. I was like, yeah, listen, you're sleeping at normal hours, so I'm just gonna come up here and grab what I want, and I'll be back from school before you say anything.
Yeah, they're loners.
Straight up. You don't even know they're gone. Only time he knew is if he like woke up for like a snack or something at like noon.
What time did your cousin go into business?
He was an evening guy.
I mean, what age is what I meant to ask.
I would assume like 14, 15.
So you're at 14, 15, going to school and borrowing sneakers from him.
I say I started like around 12 when he was like early adulthood.
Yeah. And you were a big kid, so you could fit in his sneakers.
Like by that age, I was taller than him already by that age.
And you were aware of his activities?
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're like, okay, he's operating on the other side of the legal line, so I can take stuff from him.
Well,
was that a part of the justification?
No, definitely not. That would have, if anything, added fear.
Yeah.
Like I knew. My dad said, don't hang out with him. He does stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But he was really, really funny. I liked him a lot.
And he's the guy that moved?
Yeah.
I'll keep it vague.
Yeah.
I feel like
he's down south, baby.
I've learned some things about this guy.
Yeah, but I knew that I'm not supposed to chill with him, but Dad's working. So I would see him and he would crack jokes. He was hysterical. But yeah, like his sneaker game was fire. And like his car game was fire. Couldn't borrow the cars. you know, but I could borrow his kick. And he would just like
He had multiple
disappear.
cars?
Yeah, for sure. Like, and
so
would
he was
just disappear.
moving. He was moving units.
I mean, I don't even know because like also like looking back, like he still lived with his parents.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, you know, there's a lot of expenses you dodging.
Yeah,
you know, so you could afford, you know, a couple cars and bikes.
All cash business, not paying rent.
Yeah, man. There was no cell phones back then. It was just him. But he would like go away for like 3-4 days. So like I would just go upstairs and grab some kicks, keep it moving.
Yeah, nice.
It was a great situation for me.
Did you have any like when you were growing up? Did you have any like objects or possessions that were so important to you, like outside of apparel or clothes or sneakers, like any kind of like a trophy or like a I don't even know.
Yeah, the top things that I cared about, the first thing I cared about were my sneakers. Like the very first pair that like I gave uber care to were my Penny Hardaway 2s, which like are sacred to me. I literally own 30 pairs of them. I'm wearing them now. I just constantly rebuy them now.
Yeah. How many pairs do you think you've had over the years?
I can't even tell you. It's got to be approaching triple digits.
Really?
Yeah, because
like 100, meaning hundreds, over 100.
Like I would say easily over 100. I'm curious if it like how far into the triples I'm in. I think.
Yeah. Did you ever have a Chuck Taylor phase? Nah,
I tried them. I like the look, but they don't look right on me, and they hurt.
They're too flat. Yeah,
it's not the move for me.
I remember getting this is actually a good example of the sneaker problem with my mom. I remember getting Chuck Taylor lookalikes that were actually New Balance, and they had like a New Balance logo painted on in the circular pattern.
Okay.
And I remember wearing them to school, and this guy was like, "Those aren't real Chuck Taylors." Like, and just feeling like, well, shit, I can't ever wear these around that guy again.
Yeah.
But then I did get into the Chuck Taylor game for like 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and I remember a 6th grade teacher was like, "What are those sneakers? I remember those from when I was a kid." And I took that as like, this is cool.
Hell yeah.
I have arrived. I figured out how to be a cool kid. I started putting different color laces in there.
Yeah,
and I would wear them till the bottoms fell off.
That's the reason I do it, being real. Like there's a connection. Like it's like a tip of the cap of like if you know type thing. Cause like no diss to Jordans. You know, Jordan has like the greatest sneaker line ever. Yeah. And there's a couple of the, you know, shoe models that are near and dear to me as well. But they are definitely more mainstream.
Yeah.
We're like, you know, wearing like a particular pair of pennies in certain colorways. It's a nostalgia to it. They're really well respected sneakers.
And was he a Dallas Star or something?
Nah. He was Orlando Magic for the peak of his career.
Yeah.
I would argue that while limited to only 4 sneakers, I'll argue that his 4 will go up against anybody's 4.
Yeah.
Including Jordan. Like Jordan's best 4 sneakers, I think he can go toe to toe with those.
And you're talking style or comfort or
style for sure. Comfort, I think these went easily, but that has more to do with the fact that a lot of the great Jordans are old sneakers.
Yeah.
So like
the greatest ones, I like those ones with that little pane of netting on the side.
Okay, yeah.
I think they were like the 2nd or 3rd edition. Those are like my favorite ones.
Hey, I like the 4s. I think they had like the little netting on the side. Yeah. But like the ones are a beautiful silhouette. Spider-Man's wearing them in the movie, but they're wildly uncomfortable. They're not that much more than the Chucks.
Yeah.
You know, so like I don't think that's a fair judgment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about passing this on? Like, does Aiden like the same sneakers you like?
I've caught him wearing my kicks on occasion, but I don't think he has like a sneaker thing. I think he was just more like trying to be like me.
Yeah.
Like he was like, let me dress like dad for today type thing. He was trying to.
Does that feel cool?
On occasion. I think like I'll catch him just trying to see if like he likes something that I like.
Like, does he ever put a hat on and like tip it back in a certain way?
The hat thing, I can see him working. Like I seen him try like he'll like one of my hats, he'll put it on and like wear it for the day. And like, you know, I brought out a hat for me and he'll end up like co-opting it. And I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, rock with it.
Yeah. That's nice.
It's cool, man. Like there's parts of like what I do that he's kind of been like, yeah, I kind of vibe with that. He's definitely not a sneakerhead though, and he's not currently, but he's, you know, He's starting high school next year. Maybe like some peer pressure to get to him.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, some people get carried away with hobbies, and especially hobbies that are expensive. Like being a sneakerhead, you know, you're buying a lot of stuff. You become. I've heard, at least other people. It sounds like you're doing okay with finding balance with it, but like some people will get obsessed with getting certain shoes or certain things, and you know, ordering online or like getting on the like being ready for when something drops online.
Right.
And these kinds of obsessions can really drive a person crazy. Do you ever have that thing of like, I hope he doesn't get into it as much as me?
That's a him problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, B, that's on you.
Yeah. As long as it's not drugs or
Real
alcohol.
talk. That's a great vice. Your vices, like your feet are always covered.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Real talk.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I think everyone has a thing. And if you don't, I think that's weird if you don't have a thing that like you enjoy taking part in. And I think it's just good to find a healthy one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like for me, it's sneakers and stand up. That's kind of my like where my brain spends most of its energy. And like 10% of the time, I'm also like trying to fix the Brooklyn Nets in my head. Like I'm constantly like,
how's that going?
I'm doing great here. They're not so great on the floor. Yeah. But if they hire me, real talk, GM for a day, give me some time.
Are you enjoying the Knicks right now?
I mean, I'm happy for people that are Knicks fans, but like, nah, I'm not a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to do well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want them to do bad, but I'm not rooting for them.
All right, GM for a day for the New York Nets, Brooklyn
Nets, baby. It's terrible.
So far, I've said Dallas Stars. Is that a team?
That's not a basketball
that's a
team.
hockey team.
Yeah.
Dallas Stars, New York Nets. All right. GM for a day, Brooklyn Nets. What are you literally have just today? What are the 3 things that you would do first?
I accept that the team ain't gonna win next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving a rock.
Long-term investment.
Yeah, we gonna have fun with Cam. My man, he a Chuck. He's shooting up a ton of shots, but he scores a lot. I'm gonna let him be the team. Let him.
And who's Cam? Who?
They got this dude, Cam. He got crazy jump shots. Like
what's his last name? Though?
Oh, Thomas. He's like 6'2".
Okay, and that's short for the NBA.
Like he's a shooting guard, which is usually like 6'6".
Yeah.
But he's 6'2", so for that role is short.
Yeah.
He has potential to be a real good scorer, but in my opinion, won't be the centerpiece of the team.
Okay.
So I give him the ball, let him go crazy, build up his trade value, trade him.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Get somebody.
Get someone that like could fit the role of what I'm trying to build.
Okay.
I like Bridges, but I want to move him down to the 2 instead of the 3. Cam Johnson, different Cam.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently playing the 4. I want to move him down to the 3. So same thing. I got to get players that like could fit the 4 and the 1 so that they're like sized correctly.
Yeah.
In the meantime, do a bunch of cool Brooklyn stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Throw some like hip hop shows in the middle of
at the Barclays.
At the Barclays halftime. You know what I mean? Let's get some fun out there. Build the culture.
Yeah. Who's the first actor booking? Jay-Z to open this
too
concert
big.
series?
I think that'd be great, but like that's how we still trash right now. So like our budget ain't that crazy.
Right.
We got to go like.
Is there a connection between how the team's doing and how Barclays rents out their space?
I think there's a connection between how the team's doing and what celebrities will show up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like I would get Joey Badass, super talented. In my opinion, his catalog over the last 4 albums better than Jay's, but he's not as famous as Jay. Maybe we could afford Joey Badass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Love to get Joey Badass. Get the Flatbush Zombies. You know what I mean?
You want a
Dime a dozen.
You want a bigger job than just GM of the team. You want to be GM of Brooklyn.
I want to be. I want to be like
the GM of Brooklyn.
Real talk. I want to be the Brooklyn Nets cultural liaison. All right.
Artistic director.
Artistic director. Creative director.
Creative director of the Brooklyn Nets.
Hit me up, baby. Real talk.
We're gonna get some of the guys doing some storytelling workshops.
Straight up, I'll be out there, man.
Because some people would say sports is just storytelling.
I 100% agree with that. That's what we're doing. You know, and you got me thinking too, like something I did care about growing up, sports adjacent, but not a sneaker, was baseball cards.
Oh, me too. That's a core wound that affected my poor brother.
Whoa.
My family has a yearly yard sale, And
oh no.
Yeah, he brought a box of his cards. He was like, "Yeah, just do your best selling them." He's not a salesman. And we went out for the day, and we came back, and my aunt was like, "Yeah, I sold the box of baseball cards. You got $5," and something like that. He got the $5. All the cards were gone, and he was crushed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Baseball cards. I have a Pelican case full of them in our basement right now. It's
Hell
like
yeah.
as big as a child's coffin, which is a horrifying thing to say on this particular podcast. It's a huge road case full of I don't know what to do with them because I think mostly they're worthless now.
Yeah, like it came out that like almost all the cards from like the 90s and 2000s, unless they're like, you know, a great player's rookie card.
Yeah.
The companies got greedy and just started overprinting them.
Yeah.
So while they didn't lie about how many they had, they printed so many that most of the cards became too easy to get.
Yeah, the economy of it all it's like such an artificial economy, and
Right. But like the newer cards, they've actually been pretty good about like, yo, we're printing 200 of these.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's like the right balance of like, this is a collectible. It's relatively difficult to get, but it's still kind of attainable, and it's helped to keep the value of the cards up and rebuild that market and the interest in that field.
Yeah. Have you bought, what's the last baseball card you bought? Like what year?
I usually get like a pack like once a year just for like kicks. I never recognize the players because they're like,
so many.
You know, there's so many at this point. Like I know mostly people on the Yankees and like the real big stars.
Yeah. I bet the last baseball cards I bought were in like 94.
Oh wow, so that's way back. Yeah.
Or if there's like places, there's this toy store in Williamsburg. They got old wax packs from the 80s or 90s.
Dope.
So I'll buy like something from then. Or I was at a Goodwill recently in outside Chicago. There was a Goodwill, and they had Ziploc bags of baseball cards.
That's kind of fire.
Just raw dog in there, different tops and Don Russ, different brands, just all together. I almost bought them. They're like $2 for a bag, but it's like, what do you do with them? You know,
they're just a fun thing.
Yeah.
I think there's something cool about things being tactile. They had a certain different companies had a different feel. Like I as soon as you said Don Russ, I know that those felt different than Upper Deck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Upper Deck had more like a sheen, polished feel.
Upper Deck were they were like
the pretty one. Yeah, you know what I mean?
And then Tops is just your daily driver.
Yeah.
You know, that's a gritty card. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Or Kia Sorrento.
Hey, nah. That was Don Russ.
I have a Derek Jeter minor league card that I was like, certainly this card is valuable. And I remember what it looks like because it's him doing like one of those hop throws from across the field.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could find this online. I could seek it out and figure it out. And it's like not worth anything. And I'm like,
at all?
Yeah. Well, it's like $2 or $4. Or
you got me worried now.
It's I think it was Upper Deck minor league 92 or something, 91, 92, 93, somewhere in there.
No, I'm worried. I got every Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card.
Oh, yeah.
Did his cards go down in value that much?
I got a couple random Griffies, but I don't think any rookie cards. Yeah, that was a big deal. You got to get a rookie card, or the mistake cards.
Yeah, like there was a Frank Thomas card that was like it had like black, like white out on it, and like it got printed with white out instead of the information.
Yeah. I think there was a Cal Ripken or Billy Ripken card where he's holding the bat, and the butt of the bat, I think he wrote it on there. It says "fuck you" on the bottom of the bat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now it looked like Griffey's still out here making money.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like
I liked these tops. Those are fun. That design.
I'm with this. Okay, I ain't poor. Yeah, like I got this one.
What are we talking?
I would say 50 to 200 seems to be the range because I'm gonna assume I don't have 10. They like score them.
Yeah, based on the condition.
Yeah, like the condition of the card. I doubt I got a 10 rated card, but I know I kept them in good shape. So let's say I had a 7.
Yeah,
they seem to be around like $40 to $50. And if I got like an 8, they go up in value. Some of them are like the lowest one I'm seeing is 30. I had like 3 of these.
Yeah,
the Fleer one.
Yeah, and that's but it's like, at what point do you like? You got to find a buyer. It's not really worth that unless you got somebody who's going to pay for that. You know,
that's fair. And like it's weird because like I know when to cash in and it feels terrible, but I gotta wait till Griffey dies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because the only other time to cash in would have been his Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta wait till because like to your point, the buyers are gonna be people who are emotionally attached, and like he's no longer playing.
Yeah.
So the emotional attachment is mostly gone,
right,
until he's back in the news.
Yeah.
And it has to be a big enough thing that like it causes enough sustained attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So unless he becomes like a manager or owner, like Jeter's, it was like starting to like get back in, but he like got out of that business.
Was Jeter scandalized at any point?
Nah, homie's the man.
He's squeaky clean.
Real talk.
Alex Rodriguez.
I mean the steroid thing.
Yeah.
You know that kind of like ruined him for a bit. But yeah, Jeter polished. Real talk. Jeter got robbed of like being the GOAT hitter. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean?
He got hurt his second to last season. And like the year before that, he was an MVP level player.
Right.
The year after that, he decided to retire and he had a good season, but no way near what he was doing before.
Yeah.
But like literally 2 years before, he was an MVP level player. So like if he doesn't get injured, and he only got injured because they were making like a playoff push, and he played through an injury that got worse right at the end. If he would have just been not hurt, I think his decline is more gradual.
Right. And
he plays long enough to catch Pete Rose.
Yeah.
You know, like he was already like ahead of the pace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, you can't keep chasing
He
it.
Must have other records though.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Most World Series, like he's won so many World Series.
Yeah, he got a brolic resume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he's like top 6 in hits of all time. Ton of World Series, Gold Gloves. Not necessarily. There's a big debate about his defense and that being justified, but on offense, he was dope. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this about sports and your relationship to sports. You're watching a game. You're watching the Nets. Let's say at home. The kids are around.
Yep.
The Nets are not doing well. Are you shouting at the TV? Are you losing your temper?
No. I watch the game, but I'm not a yeller.
Yeah.
I try to project what I want my kids to be.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching the game, I'm cognizant that there's other people up.
Yeah.
And usually like I don't know, like I'm rooting for the Nets, but like I'm still an artist. So like if somebody does a nice cross, I'm like, yo, that was dope. I know how much work that dude put into that.
What is that? Game recognizes game?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yo, that was dope. That was a good move. Real talk. It sucks that it's against my team 30 times in a row. But that was impressive. You know what I mean?
And what about your mood after the fact? Does your mood change based on how your team does?
I would say no. Or pardon me, I don't think if we lose, it affects me that much. But that's because I'm spoiled as a New Yorker that, like, we've won a lot in my lifetime. Like, I'm a Yankee fan. We've won a ton. It's been a while, but we've won a lot during my formative years.
Yeah.
The Giants have won. The Nets haven't, but when they were in Jersey, they were in the playoffs and in the finals. And you could argue that while they aren't there now, since moving to Brooklyn, they've been relevant more than the Knicks in terms of playoffs.
Yeah,
it's just the Knicks matter more because they have the bigger fan base. I get it. And right now they clearly have the better team.
Yeah.
But I've been spoiled that like the teams that I root for have won. That's actually one of the things that like I don't necessarily think it's affected how like my kids view my sports fandom in a negative way. More so, they don't think I'm a big sports fan because my teams haven't won since they've been alive.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't seen like us watching the playoffs together. Like watching a regular game, I won't make them watch it. But like if my team was in the playoffs, I'd make that like family time.
Yeah, you're canceling your ballet recital.
Yeah, real talk.
You're staying home.
World Series, like the family's here. We watching this.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't happened. You know what I mean?
And that's that would be extended family, or you're saying children and wife all in one room.
Children and wife, one room, but welcome extended family.
Yeah. And what about a Super Bowl? You guys doing Super Bowl parties where the kids got to be around?
I would go to a Super Bowl party without them every year, but with them if the Giants were in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is almost a religious experience.
Yeah, like if a New York team's in it, I think you got to experience that.
Yeah.
I think there's certain things that like affect the culture of local communities, and for New York, I think that's harder to do.
Yeah.
So like when something is that crazy, I want my kids to like, yo, like you should connect with this. Like I was in high school when the Yankees played the Mets in the World Series.
Oh yeah.
And the high school I went to was in Queens, but was the alma mater of Joe Torre of the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
So like the energy in that school was crazy.
Yeah,
Joe Torre's sister was a teacher there.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? So like the news every year would come to my high school and interview us, like the kids.
Yeah.
And like like there's just the energy about what's going on in New York. You start seeing more of the hats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People wearing the jerseys. I want my kids to be a part of that. It's one of the many ways you get real New York pride.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You bring them to the ballpark?
Yeah. We've done a few of the Yankee games.
How do you do? What age do you think a kid can get through a whole baseball game?
Realistically, like I would say, like 12.
Yeah.
Before that, they'll sit, but they ain't gonna be watching the game.
Yeah.
Baseball in particular, I think.
Can you bring an iPad to Yankee Stadium?
I'm okay with that. I'm being real. Like I don't force my kids to. I want them there, but I don't expect them to do the thing that I'm doing the whole time.
Absorb it, yeah.
Yeah,
like you're not going to force them to have a scorecard in their lap.
Yeah, it's wild work. Like I tell them what's happening. I check in on them, and I'm okay with them tuning out more than I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a reason that, like, Dora, like, gives them wild pauses.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she knows the attention span ain't the same. We got to give them a second. They're going to get distracted sometimes. Bring them back into the journey. So, like, I'm cool with that. Like, I think they get lost in all the sports. Baseball works because they're able to kind of get distracted. You could explain what's happening during the break.
Yeah.
And then if they want to just watch, they phone and eat a hot dog, that's cool too.
Yeah.
They're still having a family experience.
And also the new stadiums now are built for wandering, so you could go for a wander, walk around, check stuff out, get different food.
Real talk.
Franny is getting more and more interested in it as a spectator. We went to see Kung Fu Panda 4.
Hell yeah.
A couple weekends ago. Great movie. Anytime Ross and I had a big laugh over something from the movie, Franny would just be like, "What happened?" And so we're explaining jokes to her the whole movie. She wants to know who, like somebody new comes on screen. She's like, "Who's that?" And then we're explaining, well, you have to keep watching, and then they will tell you who that person is. At one point, she said, Ross was like, "How would you fight that person?" or something like that. And Franny goes, "I would kick her in the vagina." Vagina is what she said.
Solid tactic.
So she's engaged as a spectator now in a new way, just like in the last month or two, which is kind of fun.
Self-defense, baby.
Yeah, I don't know if that would happen with baseball. She claims she likes baseball. I don't know that she's ever laid eyes on what baseball even is. But I'd like to check that out. Like,
try it out.
Do a sports thing. One thing I wanted to ask you about while you're here is your wife brings you guys do Broadway stuff often. You go to see shows. What do you think is the age? Like, we want to take her to see Aladdin, but she's about to be 4.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, you think that's?
I think she'll get it.
Yeah,
it's different. That stuff is made for that.
Yeah, they say 6+ on the site, and I'm like, is that will they check her age, or? I mean, she looks like a 6-year-old. She's tall, so I'm like, let's just go, right?
My nephew was about 6 when I took him.
Yeah.
There's definitely stuff they're gonna miss, like, to be clear. Yeah, but like of the live events, Broadway does an exceptional job of like maintaining kids' attention, especially if they have a prior connection to the material from the movies.
She knows all of it now. She knows the Will Smith one front and back. She knows the original front and back.
That's formative, bro. Like, that's a New York experience that, like, I want my kids to have, to connect, to see what's special about our city, is like everybody just kind of coming together, to do that.
You said you cried at Aladdin, right?
Yeah, one of them. I forget which one now that like you're saying it like that. I feel like you're judging me about the Aladdin portion of it.
I'm remembering. No.
I cried at a Broadway show.
I was sharing with Ross how nice, like you told me that you went and you cried because it was post-pandemic.
Yeah, I wanted
but you
to
hadn't
perform.
been back to stand up yet. Yeah, tell me that story.
Yeah, like you making it sound like I cried because of the beauty of the play of Aladdin.
Because of Jasmine. You're like, Jasmine accepts him.
Hold on. Yeah.
She accepts this street rat for who he is.
That's my story, baby. You know what I mean?
I would love to see you on a flying carpet. I would love to see you cruising down DeKalb Avenue on a flying carpet.
Nah, but like it was the first time that I'd been in a live performance space.
Yeah.
Post-COVID. I still hadn't done stand-up. So like the show was genuinely good. And like it moved me, and like I was like, oh, like I really enjoy doing this.
Yes.
And providing the feeling that I'm getting from them, I want to give that to people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that
entertaining people in a room with just your voice. That's what I'm struck by. With I went to a play with my sister recently, and just being in the same room with the people breathing the same air as you, like they've totally transformed and become totally different people.
Yeah.
And there were a couple women in the show that were so charismatic and so magnetic that I like couldn't stop looking at them, and they were like 10 feet away. And humans singing, like
it's crazy,
especially when it's unamplified. Like it really like affects me.
Yeah.
You know.
It's incredible. Like there's it's definitely one thing I think that I think more comedians, if they were honest, would want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I definitely would be a singer over a comedian.
Really?
100%.
Singer or rapper?
Singer. I would be a rapper over a comedian too, but I would be a singer first.
Because you could repeat the same thing over and over again.
Because there's, to your point, like it's something that I could do that no one else could do.
Yeah.
And I think that's like an interesting like thing that humans are always searching for.
Yeah.
They're trying to connect by being different.
Also, you know what's interesting about music is like we can pull emotional heartstrings by like setting up a story just the right way, or telling letting a moment hang in the right way or whatever. But with music and singing, like hitting certain notes will make a person cry.
Straight up.
It's crazy.
Real talk.
It's like wizardry.
Sure. I hate Neo because of how much she makes me like emo and like question my relationship, and I'm in solid ground with the missus. But every time he comes on, like, yo, why we breaking up? You know?
Was Neo doing auto-tune? Was he one of the first auto-tune people?
No. He was big because he was writing songs for everyone else, and then he was like, y'all should just write these for me.
Yeah, I remember I filmed something with Neo. It was like it was a concert thing. It was the first time Justin Bieber was doing MTV stuff. Justin Bieber was a kid, like prepubescent. I remember.
Yeah.
And girls were throwing underwear on the stage.
Whoa.
But Neo was there. Was Neo on a song with him?
I'm sure. I mean, at some point.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact. Singers that make me feel emo. I'm trying to think. It's usually like lady vocalists, like older recordings too, like Dusty Springfield or like even Dolly Parton, like some of her ballads.
Okay.
I like older stuff. It sounds like a broken heart, like it's broken hearts, you know? Like I like sad ballads, really. Make me feel nice.
It was I definitely was moved at the performance. I definitely knew I wanted to like do that again.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to vocalize it, so I got emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How does that present for you? Do you get choked up, and do you have tears that come down, or
my eyes get very watery.
Yeah.
But then I wipe them off and like
pretend like nothing happened.
Nothing happened. That's a me moment.
Have your kids seen you cry?
No. And I'll when they see me cry, like it'll be like, yo, this is the end.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I avoid that very much.
Yeah, we joke about how the men in my family sound like when they're, or men in general. Like at my grandmother's funeral, my dad, he had a cry, and it sounded like he had something caught in his throat. like it sounded like it was a choking incident.
Oh yeah,
happening. My daughter saw me cry once, but she was a baby. She was feeding herself food. I think we were exhausted. I was like exhausted and like, like when the kid is so young, it's almost like Abu Ghraib or whatever, where they're taking away your sleep, they're taking away your sanity, like, and she was feeding herself, and I was just so overcome with like some kind of emotion watching her feed herself that I just started crying in front of her. And she didn't register it, but that's the one time she's seen me cry so far. I'm sure there will be more.
It's something I've been thinking about a lot in general. I work very hard to hide certain emotions, mostly vulnerable ones, from my kids. Like, I'm cool sharing vulnerability with them, like telling them that, like, hey, I'm struggling with this. This is like, I didn't have a good day today. I'll say stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like, I always do it from post.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to actually like see me struggle, just not because I don't necessarily think I'm scared of sharing that so much as like I still think like my job as the dad is to provide stability.
Yeah, and like security.
Yeah, so I don't want them to be like, yo, this is a real problem.
Yeah,
you know
once they get the sense of like, are we okay? Because he doesn't seem okay. And yeah, I think that's a big problem.
So that's like my fear. It's been coming up in my head a lot lately because of like what we do. So like I've had like a couple of like rough shows, and like I had 2 rough sets this week, and just sets. They were like 10-minute sets. Mm-hmm. And like, but they were rough enough that I was like, yo, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
As a profession, I could be a janitor right now, make $60,000 a year, and be fine,
and be like, home at predictable hours.
Yeah, and I could be with my fam. I'm chilling, and in my head, I go through the whole mental exercise of like, if I do that, I'm around more from my kids, and they would get me more. But then am I a worse parent because they watched me quit?
Well,
going after a thing, then am I quitting really if I did it for a while? Like, there's so many like mental things that like I'm like going through with all of that.
I think there's a difference between quitting and giving up. Like, quitting sounds intentional, like, or resigning perhaps. But if you give up, where you're just like so upset where you can't bring yourself to go back the next day, you give in to the failure of it all. That would be sad, and they would know it, or they wouldn't know it consciously. They'd be like, yeah, dad's around all the time, but he's not the same person. He's sad, he's depressed. This is a shell of a man who gave up.
Right.
So if it ever did come to like, I'm like Dana Carvey. I remember he said, I left the business to be with my kids, and now he's back out there being hilarious. Like his kids are grown. I'm not telling you to do any of these things. I'm just saying.
Last episode, baby.
Yeah. I love that. That's how we've ended a couple episodes. We're just like, maybe we'll just be done with this whole business. But yeah, I think they would eventually, they'd realize, oh yeah, we got more of dad, but we liked him better before because he was like doing things he's excited about.
Nah, that's fair. And I also think this is proof that not just as comics, but in whatever it is you pursue, you need to do it a lot, because then the feeling goes away of terrible.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whenever I talk to comics from out of town, they're like, "Yo, now how do you get over a bad set?" I was like, "Another set."
Yeah, because I got 2 more tonight.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah. It just is what it is. Like that's gonna go away. It just so happens that like normally like I'll do like realistically like I do like 10 to 15 sets a week.
Yeah.
When I'm like, working on something, and then like I make it a point to take like a week off every like 2 months. And like it just so happened to land that like I only had like 1 show on these 2 days instead of like my usual 3.
Yeah.
So like I had 1 show, day off, 1 show, and now I have like most of this week kind of off. So like it just sat kind of like shitty that like yo, like I had a bad set, a day to think about it, a bad set, a week to think about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is rough.
Yeah.
So yeah. These podcasts are gonna be emo for a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Well, I'm glad to see you. I'll give you a big hug once we turn these cameras off.
Amen.
And will he or won't he? You got to join the Patreon to find out.
Uh-oh.
All right. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Peace.